New Year's Eve. This year is hopefully going to be bigger and better and brighter for you. And I wish you nothing but amazing success, health, wealth, love, friendship, happiness, all the possible positive things that you could dream up. I wish for you in this new year. Let me just get the link out on on Twitter. And I know we have a newer member. Solomon is brand new, was just tweeting me questions earlier. So let me pull up the charts, get the chat going as well. We'll get rocking and rolling. It seems like my internet just is really slow today for some reason. I don't know what is going on, but it will be up and running very quickly. Maybe I hit something. I've been working very hard on the website. It is up and running. So for everybody that was interested in signing up for my daily watch list, it is all accessible now, still with that 30% off sale going on. And that sale is going to be going on through January 7th. I'm meant to have it happening now through December 31st. However, that didn't happen, right? The website took more work. Hello, NetSky Limit. Happy New Year. And thank you, FICO. Happy New Year to you too. And hello, Julia. Yes, sure, we'll look at Overstock and Fastly. Most definitely. And I'm just going to see if, no, I didn't get any messages there. Okay, let me see. I have one other message on Twitter really quickly. Hello, Mark. Mark, did you get any emails in me doing all of the updates on the new website? I'm just curious if you got new emails saying that I updated everything, because I'm going through and having to update everybody's subscription accounts. And for everyone, just like you too, Mark, that everyone that is a current subscriber that has been dealing with these headaches with me, I'm giving you a free month as well of my watch list. So my apologies for the headaches and growth and growing pains of the website. Let's actually look at the website really quickly, and I will show it to you guys if you want to. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know, Mark. So it's just cjandtrade.com, and it's going to take a little second. We got to clean up some of the cache in the data, so it does take a second to load. I know that that's frustrating, especially in the world of instantaneous life, and I think my internet is just super slow at the moment too. I'm going to do a speed test in the background. See what is happening. Might have to reset the internet in the house as well. Yeah, that's snail pace for me. It's usually like 200. It's pretty fast, actually. There we go. All right, so if you guys are interested, simply come on over to the shop, or if you pop up on the watch list page, it's going to show you now the watch list. Wow, it's really slow today. And so this is how I have it set up. My watch list, this is a tutorial video of exactly how to break it down. I do offer this on my live streams on Sunday, so if you follow me on Sundays, you understand what you're looking at. I also offer what is happening to the major ETFs for the indexes, the global announcements, the list to watch for the day that I'm looking at, December 31st. These are the levels I'm watching on the SPY. Hey, if it breaks above 372.40, hey, potential long trade. 371.20, potential short trade. And the stocks as well, the daily short volume and the float. Yeah, let me pop over to the list here and let me show you guys my list. So right here is my watch list for going into this first week. I have ODT down here as a potential swing. It is a pharmaceutical. I'll show you the chart, but I'm not going to put it on the list because I don't really like pharmaceuticals myself personally, as they tend to have dramatic movements with FDA announcements, whether it be positive or negative. Many times that will affect a pharmaceutical stock. So let's add those to the Sunday list right here. I'll type them up. We'll clear everything else off. We went through a lot last week. And I will add them on. So I will go back up to Julia's. Don't worry, I'm going to leave Disney there. I have Disney on. No, I took Disney off. I'll just erase it all and then we'll put them all back on. Easier that way. Blink was nice. Plug was nice last week. All right. So let's add these on. Fubo, Intel, FLWS, IPI, LC, Lending Club, BRKS, FSRV, RMO. Are you guys excited for the new year? I think there's going to be a lot of great opportunities. There are always opportunities in the market, right? Hello, Hamish. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me. Hamish, just so you know as well, that I updated the website, so you might receive emails. The new watch list area is all set up, and you're getting an extra month as well of the watch list. So to let you know that. Yes, I'm super excited as well. I have to say, one downside to this new year so far is that, oh, thank you, Laura. One downside to the year so far is on New Year's Day, my little ones ended up with fevers. Okay, yesterday I tested them once, no issue. Today, again, high fevers, 101.5 and 102.5. So watching them for anything else, they're kids, and they could definitely end up being sick with kid stuff, right? That happens, which is no fun. And I just realized that I've been trying to show you guys my list, and I was on the wrong screen the whole time. I thought that I was showing you this right over here. You guys should have told me. Yeah. You know what the great thing is, Laura, though? Is that they are not showing any sort of symptoms. I just was curious to test my little one today because she looked a little pale. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to test her to see if she has a fever. And then I was blown away, and I tested my older daughter too, and that was just no fun. So waiting till mid-January to get excited. Why are you waiting until mid-January, William? Every day is a blessing. Every day is a gift. Why are you waiting till then? You should be happy now and excited now. Okay, thanks, Mark, for letting me know. Yeah, I thought it would send out emails. Yeah, but luckily, that COVID does not really affect little ones as much, unless there's underlying conditions. And then if you guys have not watched Tia B. Stokes, she was amazing. She went through leukemia and COVID and stem cell transplants and beat it all. Mental attitude has a lot to do with it. All right, let's get into the list. I'll just hide this right here. Actually, I'm going to take it to the other side because I need to write on it. There we go. All right, so SPY. I have the 24-hour chart over here on the left and the 45-minute on the right. So we have this big box of consolidation. I say consolidation as we are up above it now. So we came back down, tested this trend line right here, and shot up above. Would look for roughly 375, then maybe a pullback again, and then a continuation up, maybe 378. Maybe we'll be heading to 378.50 in the next week. We did break out up above. Oh, nice. Exciting. Yeah. Looking for new homes myself. Very, very exciting times. Thinking that by June, new home in the horizon. Yeah. Good morning. That's it. All right. So right now, as long as we're really holding up here, like we were below the volume weighted average price from 2 days ago. Let's put this on a 15-minute chart. Yeah. Blessings. I wish blessings for absolutely everybody. Positive thoughts, positive everything for you all. Right? Why not? Everybody's entitled to an amazing life. Even my haters. You know what's really funny on YouTube is I have some real haters out here. And I just kill them with kindness. Because obviously it comes from pain in their life from somewhere, right? Okay, looking at this, as long as we're staying really up above 372, 372.50 to the upside, that's the past couple of days, then all of that volume is below us. Can I adjust the charts on your screen, please? Oh, yeah. You know what? Thank you, Mark. I didn't even know that happened. Better? That should be much better, right? Thanks for giving me the feedback, Mark, making it better for you guys. Did not mean to move that. All right, now as we go to the Qs, good eye on that. Let's look at the Qs. So the Qs, 24 hours, we are moving to the upside here. It looks as if we've got a little bit of a triangle over here. And let's throw in if you guys have not checked out the Anchored VWAP by Brian Shannon, he is awesome. The tool is awesome. You do have access to it on TradingView for free. We are above the volume from the, it's on a 24-hour chart, so I need to move this to 9:30. I like it on the 9:30 candle, personally, to see, hey, now we're up above the volume from the past 3 days. So the past 3 days, we had a higher volume spike right here. We're above it. Maybe that's buying. Oh, yeah, you know what, William? I do, for sure. But that's it. The way I view haters is that they are projecting the negativity in their life. They have to lash out because they're not happy in their life. And so I do not take it personally. I just try to help them be happier and look at it that way, right? Because it has to be coming from somewhere. Jealousy, something, I don't know what it is, but could be, it's not from something that I personally did to them, right? And then they take time out of their day to, it makes me laugh. Anyways, okay, the Russell. So we've broken this upward trend, pulled back to the 15 EMA on the 24-hour chart. Lower risk would be if this rejects the 200 price level right here, which would be the bottom of this upward trend line. If it bounces back up here and rejects it, to me, that's the lower risk entry right there on that second rejection. It's potentially setting up for a dead cat bounce and then continuation to the downside. Dow Jones, much like the SPY, had a box of consolidation. We are just above that right here. They being the big guys in the market that run the market, really painted this as if this was going to close lower and then end of day screamed it up higher, right? In the last hour of the day, they took it way high. And this big candlestick right here, a high of 306.29, we are below that. So that's interesting to go. Let's look even on the 5-minute chart. See if the biggest volume came in right at the top. No, it actually came in right here on this candlestick. Yeah, it did. Right here. So that's going to be a level to watch. 306.30 for the Dow Jones. Remember, it's a top 30, but they rotate in and out of the Dow Jones Industrial Average for top performance. And now that might be indicative of potentially selling at the top. We will see. Apple, you guys know I love to watch Apple on for the perspective that Apple is the largest in the SPY and the largest in the Qs as far as weight. So if Apple is dropping to the downside, it will likely affect the rest of the market. Seeing that Apple is pulling down and the Qs did not really pull down as 10% of the weight and SPY at 6% makes me curious to know, are we going to see this really as a bull flag? Or is this going to continue down this trend? This is quite steep. We could see this bounce up and test the 138 level, which was from the tops back earlier in the year. So keeping that in mind, I would look at it, hey, if it bounces up. Now, I did do my live stream on the 28th. I said anticipate a drawback on Apple. Many times when we see it spike up, it has 1, 2, 3 days red, and then another green day, 1, 2, 3 almost, another green day, 1, 2, 3. Based on that cycle, we should have a green day on Monday, likely rip up in the Qs and the SPY. However, let the chart tell you, right? And Microsoft as well. Also in that downward price action, and I'm going to give you guys a shout out that we've got a bunch of people watching. If you're new to the channel, if you like the live stream, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications as well. The more likes, the more interactions you guys give me, the more that YouTube will share it to help more people. So with Microsoft over here, very similar to Apple in that we have big downward price action angle. We're bouncing off the 15. I would look at Microsoft to break out really up above 224 right here. If it could break 224, I'd aim a target of 230 right there. Tesla as well. I got out of Tesla a little early. I got out of Tesla on the 30th. Shot up, and look at how it sold off at the end. Potentially, this was big selling for it to come back down. My target is to enter, roughly re-enter right here. We have higher than normal volume from this perspective right here. The volume was increasing and it had a sell-off wick at the top. Looking to enter closer to 664. Actually, I like 663.85 right here, potentially over here. We'll drop back down and I'll use that as an entry, riding it on the intraday waves in that upward wedge. Amazon as well. I took most of my Amazon position off, starting to see that it was pulling back from this trend line, pulled back to the moving averages. 32.50 was a former price level that looks as if potentially this has flipped to become support. So I will check this out and see where we close on Monday. Again, if we set up for the seasonality for a correction in the first week of January, the last time that we saw a big box like we did on the SPY and the DIA was January and February of 2020. So keeping that in mind, is it the same sort of setup? Are they looking to take it down in January, looking to take it down later? Not sure. Just follow the price action. All right, BABA comes back down to the bottom down here. I believe BABA was the bottom on the list right there. All right, let's get into the watch list going forward. So Fubo, massive volume at the bottom. Many times that will be indicative of a reversal. I don't have the 30 SMA on here. Let me see if I can turn that on to my moving averages. Do I have it in here? That's not the 30, it's really the 50. Yeah, so I need to pretty much add a 30 SMA. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let's do here simple, not S, simple moving average. I just want one, and I don't need that one. Let's see if this one's adjustable. There we go. And I just want to show one of them. Okay. So there's the 30. Let's mess around with it and see where it happened. Did it happen to stop on a 40? I'm just curious to see if it bounced off of any. Looks like 40 for Fubo. Interesting, right? To see that it really bounced off of another exponential moving average or simple moving average right there. Look at that, almost. Let's zoom in. Just felt like it stopped right on a moving average. Yeah, 28.21. So we have higher than normal volume. Volume was increasing on the way down. We've come to a resistance support area. Closed just below it. However, down here, this was a support. So we traded sideways for a bit before it broke out, right? Over here to about here. Traded sideways. Oops. Even up. Hey, come here. Right there. And it's right in the middle right now. So I would watch to see if this breaks down below 26.57, 26.50, likely more of a short down to 25.30. If it breaks above 30, watch out. This was big buying in this time and likely another move up. Or we might see that this is setting up as a head and shoulders, right? That this was a shoulder, head If it comes and tests 30 and rejects it, then as it breaks down below 26.50, potential for short there. Intel as well. Let's look at Intel. Looking more at it on the bigger picture. Likely that $50 mark is going to be a big area to watch. Let's put this on 15 minutes. Hey, Asif, great, thank you. My little ones are sick, but the beautiful thing is they do not show that they have fevers. It just is that they have fevers. So I'd watch that 20-cent range, 49.80 to 50. We did hit this moving average, and it looks as if it's acting as resistance. So keeping that in mind, we also have a trend line right here. Lots of stuff to watch. If this closes below 49.60, potential for it to drop back down, maybe all the way back down to 46.30. Yeah, I think they will. All right, FLWS. So 1-800-Flowers. I like this one on the daily chart because it looks to have a bit of a cup and handle to me. So let's throw on some trend line, not trend lines, but support and resistance lines here. So I'd watch $27 mark. You know what? It's okay, William. They're kids, right? I'm not panicking. Someone said, oh, well, did you take them to the doctor? No, you know what? I'm not going to panic because kids get fevers all the time. It's now the third day. If they didn't break, if they start to show lots of symptoms, for all I know, they're having an allergic reaction to something that they ate. I don't know. But as a parent, I don't necessarily need to freak out, right? Even COVID is 97% survival rate. I think they potentially had it back in March. And I'm not going to panic until I have to. It's a lot easier that way, right? Okay, so FLWS 26.50 and 27. Makes life more enjoyable. And also, if parents are stressed, then the kids feel it. All right, IPI, Intrepid Potash. So I need to look into this one as they have minerals related to them. Yeah, we'll add PLTR. So weird. If you do a list, it adds it easily. But when I just add one, they are constantly changing stuff on here. Maybe I have to do that. There we go. So IPI has 7.8 million in the float. Massive, crazy volume. Potential short squeeze here. And, oops, we'll make that one. Oh, we'll do two. We'll do another one down here. So 23.80 and 26.20 would be what I'm watching on this. Let's go back and let's look right here. Look at that on the weekly chart. It hit the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart almost 8 cents away. That's pretty crazy, right? And we stopped on another moving average. So if we break above this, next price level I would look for is 31.44 and then 34.50. 34 and 34.50 and then up to 36. This has the potential to really move. Here we were at 30, 40, and then it shot up to 51. Let's look at seasonally. January tends to go sideways. That was 2016, and then it sort of was an upward motion. This went sideways from 6, 7, a little bit of a trend line, and then really a catalytic parabolic move. Thank you, Financial Freedom. Yes, Carpe Profit to all of you. All right, so 23.80 and 26. Oops, forgot to hit tab there. 26.20. Let's look at Lending Club. Lending Club, very similar on the weekly. Well, this has a W to it, has another cup and handle on the weekly chart. Let's go to the daily. So I like this. It broke my 425 EMA on the daily. I like to see that. And you see how it offered as resistance. This is that second time around, broke above. This has 75.8 million in it. And this is what I'm looking at, 429. 980, that's 543. So here's the breakout for me. So let's add 543. I'm looking for a target roughly of 1380. So there's more potential. Also, look, here's that 1367. So let's move it down to roughly 1350 for a potential longer term target. So potentially 30% on that. And let's come over and chart it out over here. So I'd watch above 11. I'd watch for that break on 11. See how there's higher volume right here? It could be a potential head and shoulders as well if it's not able to break that 11 mark. And 1040. All right, 1040 is support. And 11. And let's go to look at Brooks Automation. So we had a downward day. Look at that 40. Isn't that? I think I need to leave the 40 SMA on my chart. Now it's two charts that it's really played a role in. Huh, interesting, right? All right, let's put this here and we'll just throw one here, make that green, and we'll adjust them over here. All right, so I'd look at 67 and 70 for BRKS. This does have 72.8 million in the float. If it were to break down, I'd obviously look at 65.70 as support. After that, coming down further, 62.50 and likely 60, then down to 58. All right, 67.10 and 70. FSRV does have 25 million in it. Big gap to the downside, right? It did hit the 15 exponential moving average. Looks as if the moving averages are starting to roll over, so keep all of that on watch. I'd put $13 as the upper resistance and support of $12.50. And watch out because it is lower float. All right, RMO, new IPO. This has 23 million. It's brand new. It has 23 million in the float. So I'd watch to see if it breaks below 2240. Obviously, there's nothing to gauge it off of how low that it could go. If they just start dumping it, then hey, you might see this come all the way down to 16 pretty quickly. Could get nice, 40%? That wouldn't be 40%. 40% to the downside. If it breaks 25 to the upside, watch out for resistance at 26, then up at 27, 28, pretty much the whole dollars are making impressions, 29, and then above 30 over here, it would scream much higher. So RMO, 2240 and 25. Let's look at Billy. Billy was on my list on Friday as a potential short, and wow, what a nice short. Thursday's trading day. I ended up calling it an early day with my little ones. This candlestick right here on the 15-minute that you see right that I drew that to, a little reversal pattern right there, a little bit bigger volume, so I would definitely watch this. Is this bringing it back down to the moving average simply to squeeze those shorts? A potential? Yeah, we'll add ACB, William. ACB. All right, so for Billy on the 15-minute chart, let me set this up on auto. There we go. And I would watch 88. So down here, 85.40 and 88. And then Baba. Baba had a nice bounce, hit the moving averages, and looks as if it wants to continue down the hill. Why? Not a lot of buying volume coming into it saying, hey, we want to take over. So it has that potential to drop down further. 231 as support, and I put 233 for resistance. And then has 2.7 billion in the float. All right, so now we're on to GBTC, right? GBTC, which trades like Bitcoin. This has 1.9% of all the Bitcoin. So if you guys have not been watching at all, Bitcoin has broken 32,000, right? 34,000 today. So this is huge. When we closed, it was all the way down here at 28. So that's a gain of, right to where we are now, 13%. So if we translate that correctly, we should have a 13% move on GBTC, a big gap up, much like right here. So we could potentially see this up roughly at $36 on Monday. So keep that on watch. I feel like a lot of traders go to the cryptocurrency market when it's the weekend, because regular stock market is closed, and then all of a sudden you tend to see a lot of the big moves happen on the weekend. It doesn't mean that they don't happen during the week, but it seems that a lot of the moves happen when the regular markets are closed. Everybody switches over. Hey, all right, 4 p.m., it's time to go look at the crypto market now. And so they take their technical knowledge and put it over to the crypto market and continue trading it that way. So I like GBTC for that, and I like Ethereum for that. ETHE. So if we go to Ethereum and US, so we'll look at Kraken here. So if we look at this, right, the 31st closed down here. Let's measure it out, right? We would anticipate a 24% increase on ETHE. That's pretty amazing, right? So let's go here. Let's add 24%. So potentially opening up, given that it opens up at the exact same price that we are right now, roughly 19.23. So that's not too shabby, right? So those are good potentials to trade something similar to crypto while being an equities type of instrument instead of cryptocurrency. USAS, you guys have heard me mention this in the past. I know that there's some other traders looking at this, the technical analysis on it. I took part of my position off when it failed to hold above this trend line, and potentially getting back in lower 313 if it comes back down. Trying to rationalize it. I'm like, okay, well, it's up above 330. That was my mark to see if we close up above it. It started to drop down. 332, I got out, and now it's pulled back another 10 cents. So I was thinking, well, 10 cents out of $3, all right, we're looking at roughly 3%, right? So I was holding off, waiting, let's see, is this going to pull back further? This has gold and silver in it. So this is longer term. I do see an inverted head and shoulders. Let's put it on the weekly as well. And let's hide some of these moving averages really quickly. And I'm sure that you guys now see that inverted head and shoulders, right? Which we're right at the neckline for that inverted head and shoulders right here, right? Here's a shoulder, here's the head, and here is the shoulder. So if we're able to really close above, say close above 340, I'm going to raise it just a little bit. If we close above 340, close above this trend line, this has great potential. Let's measure this out. What's the depth over here? $1 to 230, right? So 340, 230, 570, right? That's not bad. So I'm definitely watching this one for the longer term trade on it. Swing trade, it is on my swing trade list. And we also have WDC on the swing trade list. I feel like I've been rambling today, guys. Sorry about that. If you feel like it's ever rambling, just let me know. All right, so WDC looks like a cup and handle as well on the weekly to me. Do you see that? Bit like this. Handle and breakout day or breakout week. Sort of ignoring this March, sort of just ignoring that. So if we ignore that weird abnormal price action, 1939. We add that to the breakout over here, 1939. I'm going to get, or 19, we'll say 1930. 1920. Let's go 69.50. I'm writing that down. 69.50 for Western Digital for cup and handle motion. All right, and then the other one that I like, I just like the chart, but I don't like that it's a pharmaceutical. Right here we have this is the weekly chart. It looks as if it's in that upward motion. We had potentially a larger amount of consolidation down here, finally closed above it. It's closed above on the weekly, above all the moving averages. They're starting to cross on the daily as well. We've closed above this area. So like the chart, don't like that it's pharmaceutical. But I thought I would share the chart with you because I like the chart for that reason. For those that do like the, thank you, Mark, do like the technicals there. All right, let's get into the ones that you guys want to check out. So for Julia, are you here? We have overstock, right? You wanted to look at overstock. It's coming and it's testing an area from the past. Right here, 47.50. Was the low after hours. Okay, perfect. So 47.50 is the low right there. And it's just sort of curling down, right? Where I'd look for that next test up, if it was going to continue up of this trend line right here. And it's just rolling down the hill with the moving averages. The better time to get into something is when it's crossing and above those moving averages, using them more as support potentially. As it's coming down, this looks more bearish to me now. Has a little bit more volume. This is the directional movement indicator where the red is in charge. Hey, on the daily, it's red day moving down. So I would watch it to see it might potentially come all the way back down to 41.90. We have the 425 right here. 425 to me would not be a bad area to potentially get in. It's also roughly a support area from the past. So looking at it like that, you also wanted to look at Fastly. Weren't you in at 101, I think, or 103? So Fastly is continuing to roll down the hill, did not hold this support line here. We have, this is the anchored volume weighted average price of 103. Anchored volume weighted average price over here. The volume is not increasing like it was on Fubo, right? If we look at Fubo really quickly, why do I like Fubo as a long? Crazy volume at the bottom. So this might bounce. It's hitting a consolidation point. With Fastly, I don't see any additional volume, such as right here. It sort of reversed a little bit and then it shot up. Here, major volume, right? And then the direction of the trend. Will this continue to the downward side? We might see this come down further to 85.29 or even down to 82 over here. We've got some resistance areas, maybe 85, yeah. Then potentially down to 79. And it does have this box of churning. You can see how it just sort of churned back and forth for a while. And if we pull this over here, we're still in it, right? So I would tighten this down. Look for 92.50 or potentially right here. Let's see, 85.30. Oh, you know what, Hamish? No, I haven't. You're good. We can look at plug for sure. All right, Boeing. My pleasure, Julia. All right, so Boeing. Who brought Boeing? Francisco. Are you here, Francisco? Boeing. Here we had a box of disbursement. I should probably put this up here. And it's just, you see how it also used this anchored volume weighted average price as a resistance? To me, to the upside would need to break that 227. Thank you, Asif. You know what? There we go. Asif was helping to promote the channel. Please hit the like button and subscribe. I appreciate you guys doing that. Sometimes I forget. So bowing right here, I would look for a support. Almost looks like a shoulder, a head, and then that shoulder right here. We had big volume if we want to include this part in the shoulder, and then the volume has been dropping since then. Would watch for the neckline of 210.60 to break down. If that breaks down, next level down here, 199 that I would watch. And then after 199, potentially 190 and 185 and 180. We could be heading back down to 180 potentially. We'll see. The maxes just went back in to service. Maybe they will. As long as there's no issues with maxes, then this could potentially rebound. Yeah, Walter, I'll still look at them for you. CELZ and FSSN. All right, PLTR. Well, you can see where my thoughts were last time I looked at this, huh? It looks like I was thinking bearish, and it was bearish, right? That's nice confirmation to see that after I drew the arrow, it continued down. And right here we have that support level 23.50. It held there after hours for a long time. Shorter time frame, I would hold the $24 mark and keep that on watch. Potential for it to, we have a bear doji sandwich right here, and yeah, exactly, a little bit higher volume than right here. However, it might pull all the way back to 22.55. Let's put this on auto over here. You see that we had this steeper uptrend right here. It broke, was not able to hold this one. The next one, if it comes down, and it would still be in an upward trend, is if this pulls all the way back down to 18.20. It might come to $19. Thank you guys. You guys are great supporters. All right, ACB. So let's check out ACB. ACB kind of looking like PLTR to me, right? What do you guys see? Does this look like it's nice, strong, bullish chart that you want to get into? Not super volume here. The biggest volume was up above us, right? Big volume right here at 1250, descending wedge or descending triangle right now. Just to be that bull advocate, let's draw a trend line as to where we think that this might. Let's see, let's draw it right here. So, look at that. After drawing that, it's bouncing on a trend line. Is this trend line going to hold? If this trend line doesn't hold, gap fill mode down to 740. So this might, you see only 7 of us. What do you mean you see only 7? That's it? Yeah, ACY was the crazy one, super low float, 1 million. And RHE, yeah, we can look at that. ACY, I know unfortunately that there was a low float trader that was on the wrong side of the trade with ACY. Oh, you're new on the chat participant. I see you. There's lots of people chatting right now. ACY, well, let's look at ACY. Don't worry, I'll still go over plug and everything. So ACY has 1 million in the float. This day, on December 28th, I know that there was somebody that had up to, at one point they were underwater 800,000 based on a short position that they got in very low. And they got in at roughly $8 when it was peaking out up here, and then felt the pain and the squeeze up and ended up only with a $400,000 loss. Much better than 800,000. However, risk management wise, in my opinion, nobody should ever get to that extent of being that much in a loss. And that's really, in my opinion, low floats and shorting them too early. Right here, yeah, exactly. I mean, could you imagine you get in here and then it goes to 38 you're in down here, and it just continues. Oh, I'm sorry, Shovel. Yeah, that's why, personally, I like to buy puts on low float stocks. The risk that you put into it is simply the cost of the put. However, they must have at least 7 million in the float to be optionable. Yeah. And then this right here was simply another short squeeze, right? You look at the trend line, and what happened? People bought the breakout of the trend. I want it adjust right there. I want it right here. So here's the breakout of the trend, and the trend changed. There was a whole bunch of people shorting. All of a sudden, hey, here it broke the trend line. Volume came into it, continued. Only 1 million in the float. And what happens when there's a large amount traded, 26 times the float? It will scream higher. Then at a certain point, the sellers say, nope, I'm getting in. Then they get in and it drops back down. Would I ever hold something like this long term? Personally, no. All right, let's go back to the list because I know we still have a plug for Hamish. So Hamish over here, plug. I personally added to my plug position. I don't remember whether it was the 29th or the 30th. I think it was on the 30th when it closed above the moving averages right here. Came down and it filled the gap here, bounced off of the 15 EMA. The volume is dropping. Does look as if maybe they're setting up a downward trend, right? If we actually put it here and here, but we've crossed above it and some volume. So I'm going to look at that 425 and the 45. That's all the way down to 3080. However, it bounced off of the 200 EMA here and 161 here. So it looks, oh, I see an inverted head and shoulders. Do you guys see that? Shoulder, head, shoulder. So if it breaks above 3460, let's measure 3080, 387. Let's do our targets. 387, 3780. Right there at the top up there. It's so cool how the math happens, right? So we'll be testing the highs again, potentially, as long as it breaks up above. Yeah. All right, and CELZ for Walter. All right, so Walter, CELZ, medical technology. This one looks, looking at the chart, looks like the sellers took over here. Right? We had a buying day, sellers brought it back down, moving averages, buyers took it all the way up, and then sellers came back down. They were not able to hold it up above this day right here. So sellers, a little bit of selling, more selling, bigger selling pressure. Looks as if potentially the sellers are starting to take over. If this were to break down below this support level here on the chart, in my opinion, that would be my, if I'm holding this long, actually, if this area right here, if this does not hold, I would be getting out, which is also the EMA over here. All right, the other one you wanted me to check, FSSN. And then there was another one. Oh yeah, William? Yeah. Those can be crazy. It can be fun to trade those with like 1 or 2 shares. Then it's fun and you're like, all right, or even 4 shares, right? You can scale. It goes to 100%, you take off 1 share. It goes to 200%, you take off 2 shares. It goes out 300%, you take off the 3rd one and leave the 4th one just for fun, right? Let's see, MSTR. Let's look at MSTR too. Let's add that on. All right, so Fission. So Fission here, had a nice breakout. Broke out up above here. Looks like the buyers came in when it broke above 0.03. And then the sellers stepped in a little bit at the end of the day. Let's put it on a 15-minute chart. We'll be able to see that trend a little bit better. 15 minutes here. 3.1 million for such a low cost stock seems really, really low. Let's look back at the all time for this one. Oops, over here, and put this 15-minute. So looking at this, it hasn't, I would look for this to break above this area back here, which is also going to be resistance from June of 2019. And then once it breaks above that area, look for 6 cents in my opinion. MSTR, didn't check Pfizer yet. We can add that for sure, William. All right, on. And let's look at MSTR MicroStrategy. So let's put this back to the daily, be a little clearer. So this looks as if maybe it's topping off up here at the top. We have one day where it came up to 400, the sellers took over. Second time it came up, the sellers took over again, and it ended up just sort of running down on the day, right? So it looks like momentum is potentially slowing, support roughly 380, resistance of that 400 area. Yeah, my pleasure, Walter. Let's look at Pfizer. You just have to remember that the candlesticks are always telling a story, right? And so it's just another way to view all of this volume is a story in a candlestick. So what's that story telling you, right? Ah, welcome GTK. Yes, I will. And I will show you technically what the chart is showing me, right? So like with this one right here with Pfizer, we see that the support looks to be roughly 36.30. It's still in a downward motion. We had higher volume than yesterday, so potential reversal right here. This was potentially a support. However, would look for it to break this downward trend line that was set up all the way back from December 8th, which was the day in which it was approved as the COVID drug. This area right here might be buying consolidation. If it breaks above 37.50, to me, that would be bull hat, which 37.14, which is my 425 EMA, that's on the 15-minute chart. Let's see where it is on the 45-minute chart. It's all the way up at 37.90. So I would watch 37.50 area to see if it can break up above 37.60 potentially, and maybe at that point in time, all of this volume was potentially buying at that time for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, because there's a wick down there. So 9 trading days, potentially volume buying, and the big guys said we're going to take potentially profit up here and come down here. Yes, Randy, thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. All right. So I think we've covered, oh, Randy, you wanted to look at Blink. All right. Ah, nice, William. I don't know what time frame, what your expiration is, but that might be nice. All right, so Blink with the electric car sector. Let's put this on a weekly too. You can see as well. Is that an FDA announcement that's due to come out for? Yeah, William, we already went over ACB. It's looking fairly bearish. We'll look at AHCTF. Sure. That's a foreign OTC stock. So Blink, Randy, I like this as long as it can hold 39.80 right here. I'd feel more comfortable if this broke above 46.50, in my opinion. Because right now it's just sort of going sideways. We have a little bit of selling pressure. Let's do this. All right? So we have a triangle. If it breaks out of this triangle, $18. If it breaks out to the upside, my target would be $18 from the breakout there. To the downside, $18 to the breakout, which might put it back down here, roughly 21, right? Let's do that measurement. Say if it breaks down here, almost a little bit further, would bring it down to 20. Yeah, my pleasure. Ah, nice, Roman. Okay, let's look at AACTF, and I'm going to call that one the last one for the day. got to finish working on the website. Again, if you guys like this, jump on over to my website, CJ and Trade, and head over to the shop, and it is 30% off through January 7th for any of the subscriptions, all at your fingertips right there. Okay, let's go here. AACTF, Aurora Solar Technologies. Let's look at this on the all-time. Is this in Canada? GTK? In relation to Aurora Cannabis by any chance? Not sure. Just an interesting question. It has a W formation right here on the monthly chart, breaking up above 25 cents, and looks okay. So this looks as if potentially the next resistance might be roughly 32 cents. Canadian Solar. Okay, cool. Yeah, the F gave it away, being that it's an OTC company traded on, it's a foreign company traded on the OTC market. If you see the F there, guys, that's what it means many times when you see 4-letter tickers with the F. So 32 cents I would watch, and then I'd watch the 40-cent mark, and then obviously above here, above 52 cents as well. Those would be my levels that I'd be watching. Maybe 31 and a half, actually. 31 and a half, 35, 40, 45, and 52. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Happy New Year. Again, if you like my content, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Again, my watch list at cjandtrade.com, my daily watch list, is available for you guys at 30% off through January 7th, and I appreciate everybody's patience in updating the website. Thank you guys. Have an amazing day. Carpe Profit, seize those profits one trade at a time, and I will see you all tomorrow at 12:15. Have a great one.